2015 Tom Hunstad Award.
The recipient for the 2016 Tom Hunstad Award.
2017 Tom Hunstad Award.
2018 Tom Hunstad Award. The 2019 Tom Hunstad Award winner. Of the 2020 Tom Hunstad Award.
Of the 2021 Tom Hunstad Award for Excellence. The Tom Hunstad Award for Excellence in Children, Youth, and Family Ministry is given annually by the network as a way of recognizing someone who has made outstanding contributions to the field of faith formation with young people and their families. The recipient is chosen by the network's board of directors, who looks at a long list of people who've all done amazing things and then whittles that list down to one person, the person they choose to honor that year. The award remembers Pastor Tom Hunstad, who was an amazing pastor and youth minister who served congregations in Wisconsin and Minnesota. Tom was instrumental in the formation of the ELCA Youth Ministry Network. There were a lot of people involved, but it was Tom's energy and passion that moved this thing forward. We are all here today, in large part because of Tom's good work. After Tom died of cancer in the year 2000, the network's board created the Tommy Award. The award is a way of lifting up and honoring someone and thanking them for their work and for the way they have contributed to the broader church and to the field of faith formation.
Thank you so much for this. This is grace, undeserved.
Those of us who are doing it without the resources, it's God's way of saying, I see you.
It is not a contest. There are no public nominations. Instead, it is an honor and a gift given by our community. It is a way that we can say thank you to someone who has made a difference for all of us in our ministry.
This year's recipient of the Tommy Award has been a volunteer leader in all areas of congregational and synod, children, youth, and family ministry. Her story started pretty innocently, the way many are drawn into youth ministry. They had young kids and volunteered to teach Sunday school. When a vacation Bible school leader was needed, they volunteered to lead vacation Bible school. When their daughter was confirmed, they were concerned that most of the confirmands seemed to have disappeared. The students were no longer active in the congregation, and so they shared their concerns with the pastor. The pastor asked them what had kept them coming to church when they were in middle and high school, and this year's recipient told the pastor that they had stayed involved because of the relationships that they had in the congregation. They had friends in the congregation, and it was where they found community and a sense of belonging. Because they also had a son, and he was just entering middle school, the pastor asked, "Hey, would you start a middle school ministry?" This year's recipient, like so many volunteers, didn't have any training or preparation for middle school ministry, but they cared about kids and they wanted to provide a place for them to belong, to make a difference in their lives, and to help them grow in faith. Shortly thereafter, the congregation's part-time high school ministry director got engaged and moved away, as sometimes happens. And so the pastor asked, "Hey, would you also lead the high school ministry, at least just on a temporary basis until we find someone else?" Yeah, you know how this story goes. Our recipient told me, "That sort of terrified me. I didn't have any training. I didn't know if the kids would know more than me or if they'd respond to me, but I loved it. I loved the fact that our high schoolers were open to trying new things. They were inquisitive. They had an openness that many adults didn't." Well, the congregation never looked for anyone to hire. They had a fantastic volunteer youth director who was doing an amazing job. All the while, the recipient also was volunteering in their children's classrooms at school, at soccer, and with the PTA. They were then asked to also volunteer for the synod. This allowed them to learn from others who were doing children, youth, and family ministry across the church, and they were asked to revitalize their own synod's LYO, and they eventually moved to a synod youth team model. They collaborated with neighbor synods to offer joint programming. Oh, and the pastor of the church left, And the new pastor asked, hey, would you mind taking over confirmation in addition to everything else that you're doing? And of course, they agreed to do so. Because they volunteered for the synod, they were able to attend an extravaganza. And while they were at the extravaganza, someone asked, could you stay for the symbol, the ELCA's Network for Synodical Youth Ministry, could you stay for the symbol meeting after the E? Our recipient did that, and again, they volunteered in many other ways. They've been a youth gathering coordinator, they've served with practice discipleship, they currently serve on the symbol steering team. I know I'm also leaving out probably some other things that ways in which they serve as well. They said that being in children, youth, and family ministry has taught them to be flexible, not to stress too much about plans, to step back and let youth lead. They've learned that even when things seem chaotic, God is able to bring about something beautiful. This year's recipient of the Tommy Award has been an amazing volunteer in their congregation, First Lutheran Church in Fullerton, California, and they volunteered their time with their synod, often paying for things out of their own pocket. Some of us understand that. In addition, they've also had to work at a job that provided them with a paycheck, and so they've served for many years as the executive assistant for finance and accounting in the Pacifica Synod of the ELCA. I personally couldn't be more pleased to present this year's Tommy Award to someone who is most deserving, a great example of servant leadership, someone who has turned dreams into reality and is a living illustration of having a heart for all God's children. This year's Tommy Award goes to Terry Robertson. Get out of the way.
Wow. There aren't words to say what's jumbled around in my head and has been since I found this out. When Todd called me, I thought, this is a prank, right? There's cameras, this is a joke. I started thinking of all the people that I've seen over the years receive this award, and I thought, no, I don't belong up here with any of these people. I haven't done the things that they have. Todd assured me they didn't make a mistake. I think what this says so clearly, and I heard it twice today, just at our synod lunch, people saying, but I'm just a parent. I'm just a volunteer. And for those of us who are volunteers and often question our credibility in what we're doing and question our abilities and our knowledge, this is helping all of us to see that we do make a difference, that we are seen and we have value, and we can walk with our kids, and we can walk with them on their faith journey, even if we don't have a theological background. I once interviewed for a job at a church, and the pastor who I knew said to the group that was interviewing me, well, we all can see that you're a little older, but I've seen you work with the Synod youth team at assemblies, and you really seem to connect with them. Why do you think that is? And I paused for a moment, and I thought, answered and said, Well, it's because I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I'm not going to be the cool youth leader. I will never surf or play guitar, probably. But I can guarantee you I really care about them. And when I tell them something, I really mean it. And I really do want what's best for them. I couldn't have done any of this without people in my life as mentors, Pastor Larry Wagner, Pastor Rick Showalter, my dear, dear friend Janet Rennick, who walked with me when I was starting in this and answered every silly question I had, and still have. And this network, I don't know if you realize how important this network is, especially to those who are volunteers, who have limited resources, who pay to come here on their own, whose church doesn't send, but that we can come and we can get training and we can meet with colleagues and we can learn together and feel supported. And in between these events, I can tell you that there are hundreds of times I've put questions on the Youth Ministry Network Facebook page asking, what do I do when one of my youth group members' mothers dies unexpectedly? How do I walk with them? What do I do when somebody is questioning their sexuality? For those of us who don't have training, the wealth of knowledge in this group is humongous. So please, don't take that for granted. Please continue to support those who ask questions. And pastors and rostered leaders, please, don't ignore those people in your congregation who don't have a theological degree, but just want to serve because they love it with their heart, because they do have gifts to give. Thank you.